It's the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
GrokTALK.
3, 2, 1.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of GrokTALK, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GrokTALK.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GrokTALK.com.
GrokTALK.
All right, the technical difficulties continue, but we're going to keep pushing through them all. Just about everything that could go wrong has, but we're still here. We're still streaming live, and we're doing the internet new radio thing and everything else that goes with it, and we're not going to stop because we've got people to talk to. My name's Steve McDonald. I'm here with Mike Rogers and Skip Murphy. We are happy to have on the show with us David Bozell, the president of For America. Welcome to the program, sir. I'm sorry, there you go. How you doing this morning?
Hello?
Hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
I don't even want to tell you how many... normally the show goes off pretty seamlessly, but we're having a lot of technical difficulties, but we're glad we got you on the phone. Good morning.
Well, you know, when Bruce Willis said in Die Hard 2, technology peaked with frozen pizza, it's like the best quote of all time. He was absolutely right.
No kidding. So so TaxFoundation.org said yesterday was Tax Freedom Day.
Was that average for America, or was that for New Hampshire?
New Hampshire's was the 23rd. That was the average for America. States like Connecticut are in the middle of May. But David Bozell is For America. They have a pretty similar mission to us. I mean, if you listen to our intro, we're New Hampshire's leading. We're hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken. Well, For America is very similar. If you go, they have a very conservative message, very strong message, and one of those messages about tax reform. Correct?
Yeah, we've been talking the last couple of weeks since Tax Day, April 15th, about the need for the Republican field to talk about their tax reform, tax cutting proposals early and often. And I think a lot of the consultant crowd, they play it too cute by half. They try to look for this the most opportune inflection point to talk about what their candidate stands for with regards to tax reform and those types of things. I mean, look, everyone knows. We kind of look at it as like when Newt Gingrich talked about 80% issues. The tax code is unwieldy complicated. It's this tangled web of rates and deductions and giveaways, and no one can figure it out. Barack Obama spent over $500 million in 2008 promising tax cuts for 99% of the country, and he talked about it early and often. Every single day, every stop he made. And I'm kind of getting concerned that the field that we're looking at now has not been as vocal as I think that they need to be.
Anybody? I'm typing. Sorry. Go ahead, Skip. I'm trying to tweet, and the technology thing. Anyway, go ahead. God, it's killing me.
Certainly, this presidential primary, since we're here in New Hampshire, we're going to be inundated whether we like it or not. The fair tax has come back up to play. We've heard about the flat tax. I just got through doing my taxes, taking 2 days of vacation time just to do that because I'm too cheap to go to a tax preparer. I've got 2 STEM degrees, and I'm looking through some of the stuff going, oy vey.
Right.
Do you think anything might come of and get some real tax simplification? We hear it out of D.C. every so often, and that head has come back up again. Obviously, some of the candidates are talking about it. It has become so vast up to 30,000 pages.
Yeah,
It's
but
like, come on.
Right.
But I don't think they mean it. When they say tax simplification, the next phrase you hear is closing loopholes, which is to say any little breaks that we might think we're getting from the tax code will be removed, but don't expect the rates to go down.
Right. I don't think that anything is going to be done legislatively right now in the short term because of two guys, John Boehner and Mitch McConnell.
Yep.
Here are two gentlemen that are not serious about the positions that they hold. They have no legislative game plan whatsoever to deal with the political and public policy issues of the day. Forget folding to the president at every opportunity. It is just keystone costs. They just have really no idea what they're doing. I equate the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, to a head coach of a football team. During the week, Wednesday is game plan installation day. You announce to your players, how you were going to beat your opponent that weekend. With these guys, they just prefer to go to their members and say, "Well, how would you like to express yourself as the president?" That's the gist of it. And I mean,
They'd be right at home in a gay community college.
Well, I just have no idea what it is that what their priorities are, other than this. You got to think that these guys believe that they can just run this monstrous government just a tick better than the Democrats, and that the country is just going to barnstorm and go vote for these guys. If there are two guys that could cost the Republicans the election in 2016, it's John Boehner and Mitch McConnell, because they've just created this apathy among conservatives. Nothing will change with these guys at the helm.
And that's one of the things that we are very much unliked by the local GOP here in New Hampshire, even though most of us have been on the actual state committee, because what a concept. We actually believe in the New Hampshire Constitution. We believe in the principles expressed by the current NHGOP platform, and we hold people accountable to those precepts and principles.
Right.
And yet they hate us.
And more to the point, we hold the state party accountable when they don't lean on their members to uphold those principles.
Right. Sure.
And you're absolutely right, because I have heard so often people are not voting anymore, and yet the NHGOP demands that just because we put up a candidate, we must vote for them. Are you seeing that at the national level as well?
Well, the turnout rate in the 2014 midterms was a 72-year low of 36%. The lowest turnout rate since 1940s. And yet the Republicans run around and claim that they have this mandate and they won this incredible landslide. Did they win the races? Yes, they did. But I actually kind of, tip my hat to President Obama when he came out the next day and kind of said, "I hear the people who didn't vote." That was very smart of him politically to sort of acknowledge that. And you can see the result is when he's doing his executive actions, which I don't agree with at all, but he's rewarded in the approval ratings because he's doing something. Agree with it.
Even though most of us don't agree with it, he's getting high approval ratings from enough people that do agree with him.
He's earning his salary, for God's sakes. I mean, he's going to work every day, as opposed to the upper echelons of the leadership of the Republican Party. I mean, it's a pretty simple system of government that the Founding Fathers created for us. I don't care which state that you're in. If the president can declare whatever the heck he wants, he can declare that the sky is green and grass is blue. And it's up to the Congress to determine whether or not they're going to appropriate taxpayer resources to make that declaration happen. That's it. I mean, it's as simple as it gets. And if these guys, if Boehner, McConnell, McCarthy, Thune, Cornyn, if these guys are just going to be rubber stamping, I just assume defund their offices and defund the Senate and defund the House and just replace them with robots that are just going to rubber stamp these things. And at least I know what I'm getting instead of just being stabbed in the back with these promises of fighting executive amnesty, fighting Obamacare. but essentially just lying to everybody.
Not only will they not do it, they actually castigate the people that try to do it. Once again, we hear people, Britt Hume last month saying people probably wouldn't vote for Ted Cruz because they associate him with shutting down the government. Actually, most of us cheer that, but that's beside the point.
But he didn't shut down the government, did he? We all, anyone with a brain in their head.
No,
it was Obama that did that, and Harry Reid.
Exactly, and John McCain once again calling Cruz all kinds of names. The unions attacking Walker. All this, the people that actually try to do something.
I think Ted Cruz has a much better shot than people realize. It's going to be tough because of the things that you just mentioned. The press and the Republican establishment are going to go at him, double barrel guns blazing. Okay, but if you look at the map with the delegate count and everything, I think there's going to be, when it comes to Iowa, and then you guys in New Hampshire, and then South Carolina, probably a different winner in all three. Probably in the low 20s, and the field will separate itself to the top 3 or 4 guys. But the first Super Tuesday on March 1st is chock full of a lot of good conservative states. Oklahoma, Texas, Tennessee. There's a lot of them out there. Virginia's a little bit of a wild card. But there's a lot of good, he could rack up some delegates, and then you get to the next Super Tuesday when you start getting into the southern swing, and you can do just as well. So he has a much better shot than people realize just if you look at the map. Provided, and I would say this to all of them, provided that these guys give people a reason to go out and vote for him. And going along to get along is not a reason. And I think it should start with just a comprehensive tax reform, tax cutting message of getting government off their backs and reminding people early and often. The world of communications has changed. Look what we're doing today. We're talking on the radio, we're tweeting, we're faxing probably, we're all over the place. You got to take advantage of all these different mediums and talk about these things, talk about your message early and often. And I think the person who does that, the candidate who does that, I think will separate themselves.
I want you to, David, take a look, if you get a chance, to the hashtag 603 Alliance or search 603 Alliance on Google. We've created an alliance of grassroots groups in New Hampshire who are going to caucus and agree to vote for a conservative candidate in New Hampshire in February. So take a look at that. I know that For America's focus is using social media and the internet. What else are you guys doing to try to really get this message out there?
Well, we've got an army of over 7 million fans on Facebook. That's where we just believe very strongly in the peer-to-peer endorsement model that only social media provides. And so we're really just relying on the army to spread the message for us. Beyond tax reform, Obamacare, and immigration, trying to keep the heat on the GOP leadership and doing everything that we can to stop Hillary Clinton in her tracks. Increasing her negatives is going to be critical. And we'll let the candidates take the high road and we'll let the Army take the low road as necessary.
Well, the media is helping with the Hillary thing.
Well, the question is, who do they really want? Is it Warren? Because they have piled on Hillary in ways that we've not seen before.
Yeah, she's going to have she definitely does. There are pockets of the press that have now made it their modus operandi to go after her. Maybe they just didn't feel like they were treated properly by the Clintons, or they're younger. They're probably younger, really. Mm-hmm. They don't have any obligation to the Clintons at all. And I think it just goes, and it goes kind of where the country is. Human nature being what it is, you start to align yourself with your reporting aligns with your personal beliefs. And with the Clintons, you don't know where they stand on anything. I mean, they just flick their finger and put it to the wind. And so I think people just don't have any patience for that stuff anymore. And then with the stuff with the foundation and taking foreign contributions, the uranium stuff, it is just, where is there anyone in government working for the people anymore?
I would agree. No, nobody.
Right.
It's not about getting the money out of politics. It's about getting the power out of Washington. Because taking the money out of politics is always shorthand for defunding challenges.
Right, exactly. You're absolutely right.
All right, well, we're at the end of the segment. You are at foramerica.org, correct?
Yes, sir. And at David Bozell is my Twitter handle, and Facebook.com/ForAmerica.
All right,
Come join us.
Thank you so much for spending some
Thanks,
time with
guys.
us. All righty.
Enjoyed it. Anytime.
All righty, bye-bye. All right, David Bozell, For America. We are going to take a quick break, assuming everything works, which there's no promise today, but we'll be right back.
It's the Coalition of New Hampshire Taxpayers. We're located at 8 North Main in Concord, New Hampshire. This is a repository for all things conservative and municipal. So if you have a problem in your town, your school, your budget committee, the right to know law, and now at the top of our list is voter fraud. You have a tip for us, some information for us, you want to join or help us out, cnht.org.
Hi, this is Rich Gerard, host of Gerard at Large in the Morning, the Manchester area's only locally owned, locally operated, focused, and interested, riveting radio show, heard live every Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 on 90.7 FM WLMW, New Hampshire Family Radio, and available 24/7 live or archived at gerardatlarge.com. Be sure to tune in.
GrokTAK.